So tonight we are going to get started in child's pose. So move your props out of the way, they're in your way. And if you need props, I definitely recommend like pillows. If you've got them, like throw pillows or bed pillows are fine too. You might want to use a block or a book or a couple books if you have them, but usually pillows will do the trick if that's all you got nearby. Sometimes you might want a blanket or something too, but just getting started in child's pose, you'll come to your mat, toe tips to touch, and then you'll sink down into your heels and then start to slowly crawl your fingertips out to the top of your mat. And if you are like most of us and you've got some upper back tightness just from like sitting all day or just needing to stretch out more, you can do a side child's pose stretch where you'll crawl your fingertips over toward the right side of your mat. Be mindful of your sit bones here, that both of them are still evenly pressed down. And then I will let you know when we're about halfway through this opening sequence, so you can move to the other side if you are going to do that variation. Otherwise, normal child's pose is totally great. So just start to sink in here. Get your wiggles out. Start to close your eyes if you haven't done that already. Getting really comfy. Grounding in. Your forehead should hopefully be touching the mat, or if not, if you've got a prop nearby, you can slide a pillow underneath or a block. Allowing yourself to touch down completely. Sinking in. And anything that happened before you decided to join yoga today, just let that go. Let this next 60 minutes be your time on your mat. Getting you ready for sleep, hopefully, just winding down for the evening. And as you're starting to get into your practice tonight, just bring some attention and mindfulness to your breath. We take for granted that we get to, our body does our breathing for us. We don't have to think about it. It's one less thing to really think about. But when you do pause and think about your breath, it forces you to be so present in your own body. So if you have, anxiety, or you're really stressed out, or you're worrying and you're thinking about a bunch of stuff on your to-do list or whatever, connecting to your breath just really helps you ground down and realize that you're here in the present moment. You're on your yoga mat. You're taking this time out for yourself. You may have had a hectic week, maybe a couple weeks. You might have a lot going on right now. It's not typical. It might be a busy start to the year for you. So just be mindful of that and how this type of yoga practice can really just help connect you back to your body, be a reset of sorts. And as you pay attention to your breath, just seeing if you can pay attention to your belly area and see if on your inhales your belly can expand out, like you're filling up a balloon. And then on the inhale, or the exhales, just imagine that you're pulling your belly button in towards your spine, and that if, it could touch, so just eliminating all of the air, really letting all of that go to make room for your next breath in, and allowing, again, your belly to fully expand out on your inhale. So just doing that just helps reset your breath cycle and allows you to really ground down. And if you've taken the variation where you've curled your fingertips over toward the right side of your mat, we're about halfway through. So if you want to crawl your fingertips through center over toward the left side, and then again, being mindful of your sit bones here, grounding both of them down evenly and allowing yourself to readjust here. If you're in traditional child's pose, just stay where you're at. And again, try not to move. If you aren't switching sides, just enjoy the opening that's happening in your body in this child's pose. Sinking down. Maybe you start to think of something that you're grateful for. It could be something so little, like, you know, your warm cup of coffee you might have had this morning, or maybe it's someone in your life that you're super grateful for, or just, you know, have appreciation for something. Just bringing that to your mind. Or perhaps there's a word or an intention that you want to set for your practice. Now's a really good time to do that. So just coming back to your breath. Either thinking of those things that you have so much gratitude for, or again, coming back to some intention that you would like to set for your practice tonight. And on your next inhale, let your belly fully expand out. Think of that thing at the full, when you're fully expanded out, and then exhale, let that go. Release all of your air. Allow yourself to just fully release. See if you can inch your shoulders just a few inches away from your ears. Just let your shoulders roll down your back. Relax any tension that you might be holding onto your face, So, you know, your jaw muscle, if you could just relax that a little bit. Maybe you remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth, allowing the muscles in your face to soften. And just on every exhale, just imagine that you're melting more into your mat, allowing yourself to fully surrender and just be held by your mat, the earth, touching down all the way. This pose is such a great grounding pose, and it's here for you throughout your practice tonight. Anything that I recommend or suggest to you is merely a suggestion. If it's not working for you in your body, you know your body best. So please feel free to take a different variation, make modifications, use props, they're your friends, or just come back to child's pose, or you can lay in Shavasana for the next, little bit here, and no one's gonna know. You're on your own mat in your own space, and you can fully enjoy any kind of practice that you want for yourself tonight. So just keep that in mind. If anything I'm calling out to you does not feel right in your body, you are in control of that. You can completely switch up what you're doing tonight, and please always honor that and honor your space. Take a deep breath in. Big open mouth, sigh out, let it go. If you've taken the variation where you've crawled your fingertips over toward the left, just crawl them back to center. And then just take 2 more rounds of breath here on your own. So just collecting yourself before we move on with our practice tonight. Just, again, coming back to your intention or your words of gratitude. And then very slowly, when you're ready on your time, start to make your way to a tabletop position just to come out of this. And it may feel good in your body to sway your hips from side to side. Perhaps you want to take some cat-cow stretches just to help loosen stuff up. It's, again, your practice. You take what you need here, anything that's going to feel good in your body. And when you're ready, we are going to take a seat. And this is where you'll want props. So if you did not grab them before, you definitely want some pillows because we're going to take deer pose. So I'll give everyone a second to grab a pillow or two. And what you'll do is you'll come to the longer side of your mat. You can, we're going to start with our right leg next to your pillows. So You'll bend your right leg so that it's parallel with whatever side of your mat that you want to be on. And then you'll place your pillow or pillows next to your right thigh. And then with your left leg, you're gonna bring it in so that your left knee is touching your right bottom of your right foot. And then you're gonna take your left ankle and tuck that in behind you towards your glute. So if you're familiar with cheerleader sit, this is exactly that. And then once you're good on the bottom half, you're going to start twisting over toward your pillows, so toward the right side of your mat. And this might be good for you. You might be like, yep, I'm gonna stay in this, and this is as far as I'm going. If you want to, you're more than welcome to further your deer pose by crawling your fingertips forward. You might just want to come down to your forearms. This might be intense enough for you. You could come all the way down to your props. This is where the props come in handy because you can, build as much height as you need to come down. So if you don't want to come all the way down, you can come onto your prop. And then when you're in whatever shape, whatever height you want to come down to, you can either face your neck toward the your left palm, or if you want the full twist and to really get a full spinal twist experience, you can take your gaze toward the right palm and then try to rest your head down on something. So definitely want to try to find something that is going to be comfortable for you. This is a deep twisting stretch situation. So again, listen to your body. You're gonna feel a lot of opening happening, and you wanna make sure that you're feeling good about that. So just make sure that, again, you pay attention to your body, listen to yourself, and come out of it if you need to. So once you're wherever you're at, close your eyes, really start to use your breath here again. Come back to that, sending breath to any areas of tightness here. And just really try to slow your breathing down. So in poses like this that can be a little bit challenging, you might find yourself tensing up, causing more areas of tension, and we don't want that. So just seeing if you can relax your shoulders, relax your upper body, relax, again, the muscles in your face. If you're gripping with your hands, sometimes we create a lot of tension in our fingertips and we don't realize it. So just relaxing your palms. Just really allowing yourself to surrender into this pose. And try not to fidget. Wherever you're at, the more still that you can be. So, the more that you can just really surrender into the pose, the more benefit you're gonna get out of the stretch, because you're gonna create more space within your body. Your connective tissue is going to be able to fully relax and expand so that you can create that length in your body, and you can release that tension that you've been carrying around all day or all week. So really try to stay still. And again, trying to slow down your breathing. So just being mindful of your breath, allowing yourself to breathe in your belly. Maybe you have gratitude for your breathing. You don't, again, think about it very often, and it keeps us going. And that's so awesome that happens on its own. So just having gratitude for our health and just the little things that we take for granted until, they might not be something that we can take for granted anymore. So just thinking of that kind of stuff if you're having a hard time thinking of things that you're actually grateful for. Because I know that, when stuff gets hard, it's hard to think of that sometimes. But even just something so simple like your breath, being thankful and grateful in your body that you can experience your yoga practice and you can be here on your mat, no matter what that looks like. And it could look different tonight versus next week, but just paying attention to how you're feeling and all of that is really important. So just breathe in here, Again, trying to relax as much as possible. Take a deep breath in. Big sigh out, let something go. On your time, when you're ready, we're just gonna start to slowly come out of this. So it's gonna look different for everyone. Just take your time. And once you make your way up to your seat, before we switch sides, just take a quick counter stretch by going facing toward the left side, just peeking over your left shoulder, just allowing yourself to stretch out that side. And then slowly come back to center. And whatever is easier for you, you can, when we switch it out here, you can leave your props where you're at and just face the other way, the length side, if you don't want to move all your props. I'm going to move all my props because I want to face all of you. So again, you can leave your props and just face the other side of your mat. You can switch them out to the other side, but you'll want your props next to your left thigh this time, and then your left shin will come parallel with whatever side, the longer side of your mat that you're facing. And once you've got that situated, you'll tuck your right knee into your left foot, and then you'll tuck your right heel behind your right glute there. And once you got a steady base, that's when you start to twist over toward the left side now. And again, each side's gonna feel different, so just pay attention. Don't try to force what you did over there. Just forget about that. This might feel good. You might, again, be like, nope, I'm ready to get down a little bit lower, and you can start crawling yourself down onto your props. If you want, you can take that whole spinal variation by twisting your neck toward your left palm this time. If it's more comfy for you, you can face toward the right palm. But just coming down to a shape that feels good to you. And then again, closing your eyes once you've figured that out. So it just might take a little bit to get properly set up. Don't rush it. That's why we have time in our restorative practice to hold poses as long as we do, for not only for that fascia or connective tissue to release, but also so that you can properly get all the way in and all the way out of poses. So take your time setting up, whatever shape you find yourself in, you want to be able to hold it for a little bit. So being as comfortable as you can be in a opening posture like this one. And once you've settled in, gotten your wiggles out, close your eyes, and again, just do a body scan. See if you're holding on to any tension in your face, in your palms, in your shoulder, upper body area. Just seeing if you can move your shoulders down away from your ears an inch or two. Seeing where you can really soften and let go. When we go, throughout our day and we're constantly on the move, constantly doing things, we're not, forced to really slow down. And our restorative or our yin practice really makes us slow down. If we want to or not, this is the time to do it. So this practice can be harder for some than a vinyasa, intense vinyasa class can be, just because, staying still requires you to have a lot of dedication to your practice, to not fidget and move around. It also will often bring up a lot of different emotion or thoughts as you're opening up your body and allowing yourself to really open up. And that can be really hard too, because a lot of us just go about our day and stuff things down and store things and don't address it because it's the easier thing to do. And then your restorative practice, you're with your thoughts, you're with your body, and you start to maybe think about some of those things. So it can be really tough. But my request or challenge to you is to allow those feelings or whatever to come up, and you feel them, and then to let them go, release them, finally let them out, because storing them only stores tension in your body. That's when you can have chronic stress and inflammation, which then can cause a host of other problems. So just really allowing yourself to release here. Soften, be open and vulnerable, and just know that it's gonna be hard potentially to do that, but it's such a good therapeutic thing to do. So again, just finding what works for you to release. Deep breath in. And a big open mouth, sigh out. Let something go. And when you are ready on your time, we're going to start to come out of this side. So taking your time here, making your way out slowly. And then again, we're going to take a quick counter stretch towards the left, or excuse me, the right side this time. Looking over our right shoulder towards the back of your space, allowing yourself to fully twist out. And then come back towards center. And then while we're here, we are going to take a seated forward fold. So you can extend your legs out in front of you. You can take a wide-legged variation, totally up to you. You definitely will want your props that you just use for here for whatever variation you take. But before you stack your lap up with props, move any excess flesh from your seat, wiggle your sit bones so that they really ground into the earth. And that's when you can take your props and you can stack them up either between your legs, on top of your legs, just so that when we come down, you have something to rest on, because we're gonna hold this for a little bit to help open up our low back and our hamstrings. And if you're trying to hang, you might create more resistance in your upper body. So props, if you got them, would be a great idea here. So when you're ready, inhale, take your arms up, your gaze up, really stretch up. Feel the lat stretch that's happening in both sides of your side body here. Feel your ribs expand, reach towards the sky as much as you can. And then when you're ready, start to tip forward and then reach toward your toes. And once you feel like your spine's really turned around, that's when you can release down into your props. This is where you might need to get more props, move props around, change how they're situated. Take the time to set up properly. Again, we have some time in here, so we don't want to rush that piece of it. because you won't get the full benefits out of the pose if you're not, properly set up. So find what you need, take what you need here. And then once you're in a good spot, you're like, yep, I'm feeling good about my forward fold here. That's when you can really start to relax your body. So making sure that your upper body is relaxed, moving your shoulders away from your ears, softening your face, letting your head really hang heavy here. And on every exhale, just try to imagine that your chest would touch your thighs, which most of us, that's like nowhere near reality, right? It's not going to happen. But if you have that visual in your head as you're exhaling, you will find yourself getting closer and closer to that. And sometimes you can even remove a prop or two toward the end of holding this posture, just because you have opened up your hamstrings and your low back that much and you have really thought about, making your way down. Don't force it, of course. Allow your body to naturally do that on its own, but just visualize that while your eyes are closed and you're breathing and seeing if you can get into that meditative state where you're allowing your exhales to pull you closer to the earth. And you can really sink in and allow this forward fold to do its magic, because forward folds are so great for so many reasons, not only to open up the low back and hamstring area, but they're also really calming for our mind, allowing your head to hang heavy, be below your heart for a little bit. It's a reset button of sorts and helps to reset our parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're, again, feeling really anxious or have a lot going on, forward fold's a great pose for you. So just enjoy all the benefits of this. Have gratitude for your forward fold. Really sink in as much as possible. And again, just coming back to that visual, every exhale trying to come closer to the earth. Really allowing yourself to open up here. Take a deep breath in. Sigh something out, let it go. Very slowly on your next inhale, start to come out of this. Again, taking your time. Just move your props out of the way here. And if you take the wide-legged variation, just pull your legs back together and then just start to bend your knees in toward your chest. Then bring your fingertips behind your low back and just start to sway your knees from side to side just to loosen up your low back here. Hold that for a few minutes. So really want to take the time to come out of this. And then everyone's favorite, we are going to do a hip opener posture. So it's actually dealer's choice. So if you want to, you can take frog. If you're familiar with frog, you'll just come down to your belly and then start with your right or your left leg, does not matter. Bringing it into that 45-degree or 90-degree angle. If you want to, you can take pigeon, traditional pigeon, take supine pigeon on your back. Again, a lot of great options, but what I'll demo is traditional pigeon, and then again, you can take this where you want, just whatever hip opener of choice for you. But if you're taking traditional pigeon, you'll just start in your tabletop position, sliding your right knee in toward your right wrist, grabbing onto your right ankle to bring it kind of parallel to the top of your mat. Then extending your left leg back behind you, taking a peek behind on either shoulder, just to put your hips down, and then start to fold forward to put your pigeon to sleep. And this is where props can come really in handy, because you could prop yourself up like I'm going to, so I don't have to worry about my belly here. If you want, if this is like way too intense and you don't want to be on your belly on frog, taking supine pigeon is also a really awesome stretch, and you get a lot out of it if you just lay on your back. And then you would bend your left knee, flat plant your left foot firmly on the floor, and then you can drape your right leg over, that left thigh and feel that stretch immediately. But you can always intensify that by bringing in your knee towards your chest a little bit too. That's always a great option if you're trying to do traditional pigeon, you're just like, I'm not feeling it tonight, or I can't hold it that long. You can always add additional props. Like I'm grabbing a block right now to place underneath my right hip area, just to help support me a little bit. So you find what works for you and your body. Each week is going to feel different. Settling in here to whatever that looks like for you tonight. And coming back to your breath. So you've done a few different yoga poses already. You might have already forgot about your breathing. This is your friendly reminder. Coming back to your breath. Paying attention to if you're shallow breathing in your chest or you're allowing that breathing to happen in your belly. And hip openers can be really challenging for some of us who store or suppress things, because we store them typically in our hip area. So if it's really intense for you, you're feeling a lot of tension, or you're just feeling a lot of wave of emotion right now, you might be storing some stuff. So just try to see if you can allow that to come up and you can release it while we're hanging out in this awesome pose. And again, the goal is not to create more tension in other areas of your body. So if you're finding that your upper body is, really struggling right now to help you stay in your posture, use props, or, try to just relax into it as much as possible, because you're just going to move that tension to another area of your body. And that's really not the goal. We want to release the tension and open up. So just be mindful of that. When I first was doing yoga, I had such an ego about it, and I was like, props, who needs props? Props are for babies. I'm flexible and I don't need props. And props are awesome because they actually help you really get into a pose fully, so that you can actually get more of the benefits out of it. So don't allow your ego to get in the way here in your practice tonight, or just your normal, everyday yoga practice, or things that you're doing throughout the day. Just thinking of, that our ego so often just gets in the way with that kind of stuff, and just allowing yourself to fully get in and enjoy the pose as much as possible. Okay, 2 more rounds of breath here. Just taking in what you still need, releasing what you don't. And when you're ready and your time, we're gonna slowly make our way out. So if you're on your back, stay there. We're just gonna swap it out. If you took frog, you can windshield wiper your legs and stay on your belly. If you took traditional pigeon, you'll just wanna come out, come to tabletop. And it sometimes will feel good to sway hips from side to side or extending the right leg back, pressing into your right toes, just getting that full stretch. Again, find what feels good in your body. It's going to feel different in whatever variation you took. And then when you're ready, on your time, we are just going to swap that out to the other side. So if you took traditional pigeon, you'll just slide your left knee in toward your left wrist, grabbing onto your left ankle. Send your right leg long behind you. Take a quick peek over either shoulder. And then you can make your way down to whatever shape feels good to you. Again, each side feels different. So you might find that you need props on this side. Maybe this is your easier side and you can ditch some props. Listen to your body, respect and honor it. Get into the shape that's gonna feel good to you. You might need to roll up a blanket under your knees or roll up something underneath that left hip this time. Again, finding what feels good to you in your body tonight is gonna look different for everyone, so honor that. And then again, just doing a quick body scan as you're settling in, ensuring that you're not holding on to any tension anywhere else. Relaxing the muscles in your face. Maybe you're scrunching up your eyebrows and furrowing your brow and you don't even realize it. So just see if you can soften. Release your jaw. Release your upper body. Close your eyes if you haven't done so already. We're about halfway through this side, so just thinking about where you can still release and soften and let go. Just a gentle reminder to come back to your breathing. Your mind has started to wander, just bringing yourself back to your mat, to your yoga practice. Maybe this is a good time to come back to your intention or those things that you have gratitude for. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. Taking in something you still need, releasing something that you don't. And on your time, when you're ready, start to make your way out of this side. And this side's gonna feel different to you, so take your time coming out of it. And taking any counter poses that would feel good to you and your body. Taking the time to do that. So again, if you're traditional pigeon, you might want to just sway your hips from side to side. You can always extend your left leg long and tuck your toes, really get a full stretch there. And then when you're ready, start to make your way down to a seat, and then we're actually coming all the way down to our spine. So taking your time to do that. And I am not going to come all the way flat on my spine, just for safety reasons for me, but if that feels good for you, come all the way down to your spine on your mat. Again, listening and honoring your body, you can prop yourself up too. That's great. So you'll come down, and once you're there, bring your knees in toward your chest, and then you'll tee out your arms and roll your shoulders on your back. And then on your next exhale, just start to bring your knees toward the left side of your mat for a supine twist toward the left. So you might want a block or a book or a pillow or blanket underneath your left knee or in between your knees, just to help you get into this twist a little bit. Your right shoulder blade likely popped off of your mat, so just seeing if you can square your chest towards the ceiling so that both of your shoulder blades can be on the mat. And to do that, you might need to come out of your twist a little bit. So you might need to back off of this twist to allow your shoulder blades to come down and both be on the mat. And once you found your shape in your low body and your upper body, you'll start to take your gaze toward your right fingertips, and then you'll close your eyes once your head or your head is facing your right side. So taking time to set up here, getting into this twist. Again, getting the benefits out of twisting we've been doing. It's really good for low back. Hip opener as well, believe it or not. And then there's a lot of yoga books that will tell you that this is also really good to help aid digestion, going from left to right. So starting with our left side and moving over toward the right side just helps with the process of digestion. It also gives your internal organs a light massage of sorts, because typically you're not holding like a twist for super long throughout your day. So just gives your body an opportunity to stretch out in a different way. And I like to visualize a, wet dish towel or rag when you're thinking of this pose, and just when you wring that out and you're releasing all that water that might have soaked up from doing the dishes or whatever, that's kind of what's happening in your body. You're just allowing yourself to really fully twist out, to wring out your insides, which sounds really weird, but it just gives you a different type of opportunity to release and let go. So if you visualize that when you're in this posture, sometimes it helps you get into the twist a little bit deeper. It can help you visualize releasing things or letting things go. And again, coming back to your breath, and if you're having a hard time connecting with your breath, you can always bring your left palm in to touch your belly and to physically feel the rise and fall of your belly as you're breathing. Sometimes that's helpful to bring some mindfulness there. But as we're laying here, I really want you to focus on your breath and slowing your breath down. So sometimes it's helpful if you can count your inhales and your exhales, like how long it takes you to inhale and then how long it takes you to exhale. They should be even. So if they're not even counts, try to even those out. And then see if you can add 1 to the whatever number that is. So if you're at 4 on your inhale and 4 on your exhale, try to make it to 5. You don't need to be extreme with it, but just by increasing it just a little bit, it just helps you physically slow that breath down. And if you really want to reset and, if you've had a lot of stress in your life lately, practicing box breathing is really great way to reset all of that stress cycle. So if you aren't familiar or it's been a bit, what you'll do is you'll keep with that count. So, if it's a 4 count or a 5 count, whatever that is for you, you'll also count when you fully have inhaled for 5. So let's say your number is 5. Inhale for 5. You'll hold full of air for 5 counts. Then you'll release for 5. And then you'll hold at the bottom empty for 5, a count of 5. So just allowing your body to, you can picture a box, and they call it box breathing because it's just, the holding of the inhale, exhaling, holding that. It just really helps you, again, to reset. Even if you can only get through a couple rounds of that because it's just driving you nuts, it is a really good opportunity to ground yourself, get yourself back into a new rhythm of breathing, connecting yourself back with your body, finding that you can create some more calm and some more grounding in your space. It's just really helpful. So finish whatever round of breath you're on. And on your time when you're ready, so don't rush it if you need to finish your breath cycle, you'll start to bring your knees in towards center. Then you might just want to rock your hips from side to side just to loosen up low back. And then we are going to switch that out to the other side. So taking your time, again, making your way into it. So you'll tee out your arms and then just slowly rock your knees toward the right side of your mat. You might need a prop again, underneath your knees and between your knees. Sometimes it feels good also to place something behind your low back. So if you're just really having a hard time getting comfortable in this, that might feel good to you. But again, just listening to yourself where you're at, not trying to force anything. Each side's going to look different. And then being mindful of your left shoulder blade. If that popped off the mat, just grounding that back down. And taking your gaze toward your left fingertips this time. And again, if you want to practice your box breathing or just, paying attention and counting your breaths here on this side, you can start to bring your right palm to your belly, closing your eyes, just allowing yourself to really use this time to slow your breathing down, to help you reset, and just really start to get in touch with your body. Finish whatever round of breath you're on. If you're still practicing your box breathing or just counting your inhales or exhales, or maybe you've forgotten about your breath already, it's okay. Just finish up where you're at. And when you're ready, you can slowly make your way back to center with your knees. And you can take a brief stop in Happy Baby if that would feel good to you, by grabbing on to the outer edges of your feet, or maybe just your shins, or just swaying side to side just to loosen up low back here. And then when you're ready, it's time to make your way to your final resting shape, your Shavasana. So that might look different for all of us, but you can just stretch out on your mat into traditional Shavasana. If you've got a wall nearby, legs up the wall is an awesome option, especially if you have been feeling really anxious lately. It's just a really good reset. But again, just coming to a shape that feels good to you and your body. And if you want to continue to pay attention to your breath, you can always bring your hands to your belly here to use this time to continue to focus there, or you can place them on the ground facing down to get some more grounding. So again, just finding what feels good to you in your body and allowing yourself to really relax here. So doing a really quick body scan before you take a few moments of rest, releasing any tension in your face, allowing your jaw to relax, lowering your shoulders away from your ears, rolling your shoulders on your back, releasing any tension in your hands, allowing your low back to fully open, seeing if you can relax even your feet and your toes, and then just allowing yourself to take some time to fully rest. Shavasana is here as long as you have the time. I encourage you to stay and rest for a few minutes or however long you have longer. So you can just tune out my voice. Feel free to close Zoom. I will obviously end class and close out Zoom, and you can continue to rest. So if that is what your body is calling for, please honor that. Stay resting. If you do want to move on, just so that you can hopefully make your way to bed or get ready for bed, just start to bring some awareness to your fingers and your toes. And then softly, slowly make your way to either side for a brief stop in fetal pose. Taking a moment there to come back to your intention or your things that you're grateful for. And then slowly on your next inhale, start to make your way to a comfortable seated position on your mat. Bring your hands to heart center and closing your eyes if they're not already closed. Take a deep breath in, big sigh out, let it go. Breathe in something amazing, something wonderful that you still need. Breathe out something you no longer need to hold on to. Thank you all so much for joining tonight. I hope you sleep well, get some awesome rest, and enjoy the rest of your week. Namaste.